All right, my friends, we're going to talk about something that it might sound confusing, but just stick with me. I mean, if you're considering this content creation game, then this should be helpful. Strategic repurposing, leveraging one piece of content across multiple different platforms. That's the idea, and that's what we're going to talk about. I'm in front of my computer, my laptop here, my extra monitor, and I have some notes back there on my whiteboard because I literally am creating there's a guy named Justin Welsh who's really big on Instagram, mostly on LinkedIn and Instagram now, and Twitter. And he's basically talks about a flywheel concept, and he's not the first to mention it, but I'm going to give him credit. The flywheel formula, it's like you have one piece of content kind of as a hub, and then there's flywheel pieces around it, meaning you can do one thing one time and then repurpose that for multiple platforms. I don't know about you, but I didn't get into this game to take up all my time and have another job. I refuse. I do not want that. I want to be free from having to spend time doing things I really don't enjoy, or having to spend extra time or time that's not necessary. Okay, so I'm going to go over this with you, and I'm going to give you a perfect example because I am doing it right now. Okay, I'm recording a piece of content. This doesn't have to be your hub, but at this point, the hub for me is a video like this. It's about 10 minutes long, generally. I mean, I just kind of talk until I don't feel like talking anymore. But what I do with this, okay, so I'm going to go through this process with you. I record a YouTube video. I upload this video to YouTube, okay? Then I extract the audio from it. There are tools for all this stuff, by the way, and I'll share them. I share them with my subscribers. So I extract the audio from the video, and then I extract the transcription as well from the video. So basically, I have all of the words, the audio, but I have it in print, and then I have an audio version, okay? Because here's what I do next. I feed the transcription, the words, to GPT-4, and I have it create my weekly newsletter, at least a guideline for my weekly newsletter, okay, using this content. And then I feed the video to another software program, and then what it does is it actually cuts it up into little pieces, 10 to 12 small clips. I do less than 30 seconds on the clips. You can choose their software for this as well. Then so I have these 10 to 12 clips, and then I feed the audio to Spotify for podcasters, and that ends up being my podcast. So what I've done, and what I've done is I've taken this one piece of content and then cut it up into different pieces, because I have my newsletter, which is written, that I sent, that I'm doing, I'm pretty much decided weekly. I have my newsletter, have my podcast, and I have 10 to 12 pieces of content that I can use for YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, and that type of thing. So I'm repurposing the same content in different formats because people are going to see it different places. They're not always going to see it in one spot, right? So the goal is to consider, okay, I mean, who knows? I don't know if you want to have a podcast or a newsletter or both. There's no way I would do either one of those things if I couldn't repurpose and then actually use automation to do it with. My brand, Leverage Hacker, it's basically about finding the leverage in different things and then using it to its fullest potential. Leverage is being able to have an impact on the input that you put in and then the output. It's all about 10xing. You can't 10x when you're just trying to work harder, right? You could only, I mean, think about it. At your job or whatever you do right now for money, what if you wanted to 2x it? You can't even do it because you'd have to work twice as hard. And then, so 10xing, it's impossible, right? But with technology, automations, software, and AI, we could do this. So repurposing, strategic repurposing, leveraging one piece of content across multiple platforms. I'm just getting started. All right. So what's next, right? you have these pieces of content. You have these different pieces of content. You have the 10 to 12 short videos that you can now post on social media. You set it at 30 seconds or whatever you want. You have options with the software. But what I do is set it for 30 seconds or less. Okay, that's for the pieces of content. Obviously, with the newsletter, I'm using a service called Beehive. Very cool. Love it so far. It's amazing. Just getting started with the newsletter. After that, oh yeah, podcast. Spotify for podcasters. There's actually a program. I created a podcast absolutely free. I got somebody on Fiverr to do an intro and an outro for me. And, I'm starting to build up those listeners just by making sure it's connected to all the podcast services. You could do practically all that for free. I didn't pay anything so far to do my podcast. I haven't paid anything so far to do my newsletter. Now, there are upgrades with most of these things, so I will probably upgrade the Beehive newsletter subscription service because it has lots of tools. So I'm sure I'll upgrade that to a paid level. I'm still on a free trial. Really, really new, the newsletter. But I love the layout. I like how it's looking. Now, as far as those little short clips, it's interesting. If you have the little short clips on your phone, then you can then upload them to, like I said before, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm not on Twitter right now. I'm not really messing with Twitter and LinkedIn, but that's just my personal choice. So you can upload Reels. What's really hot right now, and kind of, I don't know why, but it's just people's attention span maybe, is I upload those short little clips to Facebook Reels. Sometimes I'll share with my story. Then I upload it to Instagram Reels. Sometimes I'll share my story. And then YouTube Shorts, which is, the little short versions. Now, as far as that goes, even I'm looking for leverage there. So I'm using a couple of different services where you can actually schedule it. And so technically I could schedule out a whole week's worth of stuff. I've made a commitment to post 3 shorts per day, short videos per day now. You don't have to do any of that, obviously. It depends on where you're at, right, in your journey. But I'm doing 3 a day. So I could schedule out a whole 7 days on a calendar, and then the software automatically posts it at those times that I've decided. So again, these are just things that I've learned. I'm all about leverage. I'm all about leverage hacking. So we're going to find the leverage in a system and then use it to its fullest potential. I share lots of these things with my subscribers on my newsletter and my podcast, and I'm excited to continue the journey. So this is a lesson on strategic repurposing. You can do it. You can leverage one piece of content, as I've just explained, across multiple platforms. Hope this was helpful for you. Peace.